Am I overreacting? Girlfriend went on a trip with her friends and came back acting totally different. Plus updates. Original post. So, I, 25 male, have been with my girlfriend, 22 female, for about a couple of years. We've been living together for a few months, and things have mostly been really good. Like, yeah, little arguments here and there, but nothing major. Last weekend, she went on a trip with her college friends to this lake house or cabin one of their families owns. It was just the girls, kind of a last summer thing before a couple of them move out of state. I was totally fine with it, told her to go have fun, no issues there. But when she got back, something felt off immediately. She walked in, barely looked at me, gave me a quick hug, and then went straight to the bedroom to unpack. She didn't even really say she missed me or anything. We usually text a bunch when we're apart, but she was kinda distant the whole trip too. Shorter responses and slower replies. Since she's been back, she's been weirdly quiet. Not mad, just distant. She's been zoning out, not really laughing at stuff like she usually does, and just kind of flat when we talk. I asked her how the trip was, and she literally said it was alright, and then changed the topic. No stories, no funny moments, no pics, nothing, which is super unlike her. She normally comes back from any outing with like 10 stories and a ton of photos. The other thing is she's been journaling a lot since she came back, which again, not bad, just new. She's always kind of been into mindfulness and stuff. I asked if everything was okay, and she just said she's tired and processing a lot, whatever that means. I tried pressing gently, and she told me I was being overly clingy, and that she just needs a bit of space. I've never been called clingy before, so that kind of stung. I've tried asking her friends if something happened, but they kind of brush it off and tell me not to worry. So now I'm just sitting here like, what happened on that trip that made her come back a totally different person? She's not mad at me, I think, but it honestly feels like she left as one version of herself and came back as another. And she won't let me in at all. I'm trying not to make a big deal out of it, but I feel like I'm being iced out, and I have no clue why. Am I overreacting for feeling really weird and kinda hurt by this? Should I just give her space and stop asking questions? I don't know. This just sucks. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Trust your instincts. No one asks for space from a partner if everything is fine. Her calling you clingy? Is her telling you nicely to bug off? 1. Something happened that caused her to go into a funk. Unlikely, in my opinion. If she's talking to all her friends, but she's being distant with you specifically, that's not normal. 2. She cheated. Maybe she feels guilty, but at the same time, she's not sorry. Maybe she's second-guessing her relationship with you? I don't know. I'm not ready to bring up the topic of whether she cheated or not. She's always made it clear she values us and our relationship. I trust my instincts, but I also need to step back maybe a bit. Thanks for your response. Not overreacting. I agree with giving her space to a certain degree, but if my significant other came back acting so distant and zoned out, I would be concerned about something traumatic. That's also because I know my partner, and she shuts down when something has upset her. I'd give her a couple more days, then come to her and be like, hey, so I'm worried about you. I'm not upset, but I do want to do a mental check-in. You've been kinda distant and zoning out. Is something bothering you or on your mind? I'm here for you and I care. I wouldn't even mention, since you got back from your trip, I'd leave that part open. She will either A, appreciate your care and give you some insight, or B, blow up. At which point you'll have to just walk away and decide where you want to go from there. Either one of two things happened in my mind. 1, her and her friends got into it, or someone hurt her. Or 2, she cheated or did something she shouldn't have. Either way, please update us. Thank you, means a lot. I will update sooner or later, but I'm giving her space now. Now for the first update a day later. So yeah. First off, thanks to everyone who commented or messaged me. It always helps, even a little bit, to talk about this. I read everything, even if I couldn't reply to everyone. Some of it helped. Some of it, to be honest, just made me feel worse. Still, thanks. Anyway, getting to the update. It wasn't really a planned discussion or anything. It just kind of happened. I had earlier asked one of her friends if something was going on. She didn't really open up but told me it wouldn't be her place or job to say. I thought I wouldn't get anything out of her, so I just said screw it and decided I'd try to talk to my girlfriend later. She came home from work and was just acting off again, the usual. Barely said anything, didn't eat the dinner I had prepared earlier, almost immediately went for a long walk outside, then went straight to the shower and spent a long time there. Later, she just stayed in our bedroom, lying around and not really engaging with me. I haven't seen her writing in her journal today, and honestly, I don't think much of it. I went in after a while just to ask her about her day, gently. I wasn't pressing or nagging about it, just calmly asked if she could please talk to me and that I care about her and how she feels. I told her I wasn't trying to fight or blame her for anything. I just wanted to understand what's going on, and since we always share everything, that it's unfair to keep me in the dark. I told her I'd support her either way, whatever it was. She didn't say much, just kept mumbling about not knowing what to say, not really feeling it, being tired, etc. So I stepped back, spent some time on my own, and went for a walk. Eventually, later that day, she started opening up a little. I guess she had enough time to reflect and gather her thoughts. I'm not going to put every single word she said here in quotations because it feels personal, and I'm still trying to process it myself. But basically, yeah, something happened on the trip with her and the girls. She didn't say word for word what she did in detail, but made it clear that it went way past what would be okay in a relationship. Like, way past. There were plans for drinking during the trip. I know my girl drinks, and I do too. It's never been a problem. I was expecting it. I think it's normal, and I always encourage her to have fun if she wants to since I trust her. She's been to raves, parties, etc., and I have never seen a problem with that. It's not my right to limit her hobbies, even if I don't always match her energy. Mind you, she has never been a heavy drinker, at least not around me, and we've never had to talk about her alcohol usage. She has been a well-behaved adult for all our relationship, and if she has been drunk, it has always stayed well within the limits of good taste. She said what happened wasn't planned, and that it just kind of did, and that she wasn't herself. Which honestly just gave me a knot in my stomach, like she was preparing me for something really bad. So I encouraged her to just say it, that she had already said enough for me not to back down now. I deserve to know about this. She said the trip honestly went well regarding the original plan. They drank, went to the sauna by the lake, swam, played games, and hung around normally. Doesn't sound awful, right? Sounds like a normal weekend trip with friends. Later that night, they had been drinking more, partying, listening to music, and enjoying themselves. Some were drinking in the hot tub, and some were inside playing a board game and talking. Later in the evening, someone suggested they do a drinking game. Honestly, I don't see an issue with that. I like partying and games too. It's all just good fun within its limits. They played spin the bottle, with a twist of drinking or doing the dare. A couple of the girls were pushing it, encouraging it. She admitted she went along with it and wanted to play, but the way she said it, I don't know. She looked ashamed and said it quietly. The dares started innocent and normal at first. Celebrity crushes, darkest secrets, singing songs, and so on. But they got out of hand as the game went on and more drinks were consumed. Some of the girls dared others to kiss, pick marry/bang/kill lists, pour drinks into each other's mouths, and so on. Obviously, something that could go bad very quickly. My girlfriend says she didn't know better or didn't want to kill the mood. She says she felt it was fun in the moment, didn't feel she did anything wrong, and that it was all consensual and nobody minded. She said it's normal for girls to do after getting tipsy. She says she doesn't remember everything well, had a hangover the next day, and isn't even sure if she did anything. She says she felt bad because she obviously doesn't like girls that way and normally doesn't do these things, usually just watching from the side. She never explicitly says what she participated in, but she talks like she's guilty, so it's all a bit confusing. There was one girl there, let's call her Ellie. I've met her. She's the fun, easygoing type and the one I mentioned earlier, who I didn't think would hurt me or her in any way. I asked my girlfriend if she was there, wanting to know if I was wrong about her. Honestly, I wanted to know if they all sucked and played along knowing she has a boyfriend. My girlfriend said Ellie hadn't participated and left the cabin when things started happening. She said Ellie mentioned she wasn't feeling well and would sit it out, then came back later in the night. They talked outside later that night, but she says nothing happened between them. Honestly, I believe her, and I don't know why she brought it up. Ellie's actions don't sound suspicious, and I wouldn't have expected her to do anything anyway. It just feels like a weird extra detail she added. Also, I'm not saying it would have been Ellie's duty to tell anyone off. I just wanted to know if I was wrong about her and if everyone there was fine with everything. My girlfriend said she hasn't talked to her or the girls much after the trip. I want you all to know I didn't yell at her or get angry, just sat there. I didn't know how to respond since she didn't sound like her usual considerate self. She kept saying she didn't know why she shut down, and that she's been feeling horrible since. That she didn't know how to tell me and needed time to word her thoughts. We've been distant after the talk, and there's just been this heaviness between us since she got back, and now I know why. I don't even know what to do now. I told her I needed space and went out for a walk. Came back and just sat in the living room, not really looking at her. Am I treating her the same way now? Shutting her out? Ignoring the problem? Not acknowledging things are messed up? Obviously, I shouldn't be okay with this. I don't see a life without her, so her behavior is hard to accept. Should I sleep somewhere else tonight? Should I break it off immediately? Everything is a mess in my head, and I don't know what to do or how to approach it. I've never been the confrontational type either. I love her. I really do. But I don't know if I can look at her the same way again. Not just because of what she maybe did, but because she came home and shut me out. Made me feel like I was crazy for noticing something was wrong. I feel like this is something she should have told me immediately. This obviously affects us. I don't even know if there's an us after this. We've set clear boundaries in our relationship and never crossed them. The fact she's still leaving details out bothers me. Anyway, that's where I'm at. Not really looking for advice right now. You're free to comment though and tell me your thoughts. Just needed to get this all out of my head. This feels like a dream and not the good kind. This is always going to be a cloud over your relationship if you continue to remain in it until she's completely honest with you. You cannot forgive or rebuild from something when you only have guesses and ideas as to what actions were taken to violate your relationship. You're owed the truth, whatever else comes of this. And no, kissing, intimate touching, oral, or having sex are not things that we as women just happen to do with one another when we're tipsy. That's not how drinking works. Sure, it lowers inhibitions and impairs judgment, but it does not flip some bi-curious switch that we can't resist. If it did, Ellie would have had no reason to retreat to her cabin and avoid whatever happened. You're being trickle-truthed and gaslit. Though at this point, let's just call it what it is. You're being lied to about having been cheated on. At the very least, I'd advise, first and foremost, no sex until STI testing has taken place. Second, the truth, all of it, must come out if there's any hope of repairing this relationship, if that is worth your time and effort. First of all, remember your happiness isn't determined by whether or not you stay together. Sounds like she cheated. Guess what? A lot of people get blackout drunk and don't cheat. Maybe she got drunk, it lowered her inhibitions, and it turns out she is bisexual. Drinking is not an excuse. Sure, she is embarrassed, but she did what she did and needs to come to terms with it. My girlfriend says she didn't know better or deny a good time. She says she felt it was fun in the moment and didn't feel that she did anything wrong and it was all consensual and nobody minded it, and that it's normal for girls to do after getting tipsy. Going down on each other, or whatever they did, is not a normal thing for girls to do after getting tipsy. She is trying to normalize what happened. My ex went to a party and slept with her ex-boyfriend. She swore for years she was drunk out of her mind. She lied. Do what you need to. Second update. I phoned her friend, this time demanding answers since I can't get them from my girlfriend. She confirmed more people joined them over the weekend than just their initial friend group and said she wouldn't know what to tell me, since she really didn't care, and told me to go over it with my girlfriend if I was so concerned. Granted, I was emotional and raised my voice since I'm desperately trying to get a clear answer. She and Ellie are the only ones I can reach, since I don't know any of the others' contacts. I'm so done fishing for answers when no one gives me anything. It all seems useless. I'm not home at the moment and don't feel like going. To the people saying they'd treat my girl better, sending me threats in my DMs, etc. Honestly, thanks for that. Gave me a couple of laughs in an otherwise terrible situation. Now for the last update. It's a lot. Just writing this for closure, for myself and for the people who followed this. I'll be staying somewhere else for a couple more days, maybe, before starting to make preparations for splitting off. I finally had a proper conversation with Ellie. It wasn't quick. We talked all evening. She didn't seem to want to at first, but eventually she opened up. She was the only one who wasn't drinking or participating, and I respect her for being straight with me. She told me that the group was drinking heavily, and at one point, some of the girls invited a few guys over who were staying nearby. Guys I had no idea would be there. She's not sure if this was the plan all along, or if it was the girl's idea in the moment, but she at least didn't know about it beforehand. The drinking game started getting more intense with the guys involved. According to her, my girlfriend ended up making out with 2 different people. One of the girls, the same girl who told me not to worry about it and wouldn't give answers when I contacted her originally, and one of the guys. There was a lot of touching that wasn't just playful. As far as Ellie knows, my girlfriend didn't F anyone. She says she left and doesn't know what happened afterwards. But it was far past anything I'd ever be okay with, and definitely past anything we agreed was acceptable in our relationship. What hit me the hardest was how, according to Ellie, my girlfriend wasn't even that drunk at that point. Tipsy, sure, but not blacked out or out of control. She had been laughing, very involved, and didn't seem pressured. She wasn't out of it, like she tried to make it sound. Ellie left because she was uncomfortable, and when she returned later, my girlfriend was still in full party mode. Her talking was all blurry, and she was a mess. I've talked with my girlfriend, well, my now ex, over the phone, but all I got was mumbles or silent treatment. I flat out said I know what she did, and that she could at least admit it to me before I break it off. I asked if I meant anything to her, or if all our time together had been fake or just an act for her. I asked how long she's had problems with her drinking, since I've always thought of her as a mature and smart woman. She was sobbing and told me she could help me understand if I came home, and that she could make up for it, and that even if she did do it, she still loved me. So I'm done. I can't stay in something where I'm lied to, gaslit, and made to feel like I'm overreacting for noticing something is off. She came home and shut down instead of being honest. She let me stay confused. Even when I was trying to comfort her, when she should have been honest the second she walked through the door. Heck, she should have admitted it as soon as it happened, not that it would have made what she did okay. Some people here on Reddit messaged me privately to offer support. Some have reached out through something called Reddit Care Resources. Honestly, I had no idea that existed. I'm not in need of that, but I'm thankful anyway. Thank you. Some have helped more than you needed to. Others, though, have been blowing up my DMs, sending hate messages, calling me names, telling me I was pathetic for how I handled it. Someone asked for my ex's socials so they could have fun with her since I don't know how to. Some have said they straight up don't believe me, which is fair. You're not supposed to take everything you read at face value. But to those people, congrats. I don't know what you expected me to answer, but you added nothing of value to my life. I've realized it was probably a mistake to start posting about this online at all in the first place. This will be the last update. I'm moving forward. Don't expect further updates. Thanks to the ones who cared, and my heart goes out to anyone dealing with anything similar. Last story. Am I the a-hole for wanting to call off my wedding because of something my sister saw on my fiancé's phone? My fiancé and I are supposed to get married in a week. Everything was going fine until a couple of days ago when my sister told me she saw him texting a girl on Snapchat. She said it was definitely a girl's name, but she couldn't see the messages because they disappeared before she could get a better look. I confronted him about it, and he completely brushed me off. He just said it was nothing and told me to stop overthinking. I asked if I could borrow his phone for a bit so I could see for myself, but he immediately refused. That alone made my stomach drop. He just kept saying I should trust him, and that if I did, I wouldn't even be asking. I have been sick over it since. My gut is telling me something is off, and I feel like marrying someone I can't trust is a huge mistake. I told him I was thinking of calling off the wedding, and he acted like I was insane. Now my entire family except for my sister is being really cold toward me. They keep saying I am being petty and overreacting, and that I am about to ruin my own life over nothing. I don't know if I am actually being petty or if my feelings are valid. It is so close to the wedding, and I am having a hard time making a decision. Am I the a-hole if I call it off over this? Always trust your gut. I really want to, but my family is being cold to me. How can I deal with them? You don't owe them a sham marriage. Why aren't they up in arms at you potentially being cheated on? OP, your fiancé should basically show you the Snapchat and the girl he's been talking to. If he doesn't, it's a no-go. If he's saying you should trust me, tell him if you're marrying me, you should have nothing to hide. Get on his case and get to the bottom of the Snapchat issue. Then you can be at peace and know for sure what's going on and how to respond to it. It's already a bad sign he's refusing. If this is how he's going to be, can you live with that? It's not you messing up the wedding. It's him. Don't cave in to your parents' concerns. They don't have to live with him. This is so important. Is he trustworthy or not? The more he makes excuses, the more you have your answer.